Dr. Subhadsri Raman, is that Vijay was expected there at Karur hours before. He turned up nearly 5 hours later. Ideally, should this event have been called off? Because you gave that bandwidth for people to gather in such large numbers.
Yeah, in fact, the Namakkal announcement was asking people to assemble at 8:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Vijay was leaving Chennai at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Bizarre.
I mean, what kind of a organization is that? Now, my other point, which I want to make, Akshita, is that look, 10,000 people are expected. Let's say the crowd has crossed 20,000. You call Mr. Vijay, the police superintendent calls Mr. Vijay and tells him, look, we cannot accommodate any more people. We are turning them back. Make an announcement through the media. Say that, look, the police cannot handle this. This is the number they've asked for. That's right. So then you are justified in turning people away and saying that, look, law and order and crowd control primarily is the responsibility of the local administration and the state government. You can't just wash your hands off and say that man made a mess of it and he didn't organize it properly. Of course, he didn't organize it properly. Of course, he came late. Of course, he violated, the rules, the permissions given. But what were you doing? What was the state government doing? And quite honestly, the kind of alacrity with which they responded after the event, it contrasts very sharply with how the alacrity they responded after the Kallakulchi hooch tragedy, the stampede at the marina, and so on. The chief minister was on the spot in 5 hours, 6 hours after the event.
Yeah.
And a galaxy of ministers turn up there, and everyone, the people who are crying, ministers are seen shedding tears. I mean, sad. This is a tragedy. This is not a time to play politics over it. And even the party spokespersons expressing horror and shock over it. It is their government, their responsibility to have prevented it fundamentally. Yes, Vijay was irresponsible. You need to act against him and the party, prosecute them as per the law. But this is also your responsibility, and making it look like it's only this one individual's failure and the state administration is blameless is ridiculous. And one other point, I was talking about the AIDMK rally which was held there. The numbers are much closer, more tightly regulated, and this kind of 6 hours, 8 hours crowd building up does not happen at those rallies. If the meeting is to be addressed at 8 o'clock, the crowd starts from assembling by around 6 o'clock or 5:30 in the evening, 2 hours time. And this kind of people waiting from morning 8 o'clock for somebody to turn up at 7 or 8 in the evening, that itself should not have been allowed. There have been many rallies held, Akshita, where the venue for the rally is actually opened 3 to 4 hours before the event.
Correct.
That again was not done. And look, the bottom line is, okay, let's take this Aruna Jagdishan Commission of Inquiry which has been appointed. The last time Aruna Jagdishan Commission of Inquiry was appointed was onto the Sterlite firing. And you know what the state government did? They actually promoted those people who were indicted by the commission. One of them was promoted to a DGP and retired honorably a couple of months ago. So I'm appalled at the politics that is being played out of it. And I appreciate Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy. He was asked a question, don't you think Vijay should have come to the hospital this morning? And he said, look, people are in different states of mind, and I will not pass any comment on that. And let us not play politics over it. But the way politics is being played over this, I have a feeling that if they go on in the same manner, it may backfire on the ruling party. If the same kind of attempt goes on for a few more days. But yes, Vijay should have stayed back in Karur. Vijay should have, if not, maybe going to the hospital may have been dangerous, or he might have been advised against it by the police. But he should have stayed back. His party man should have been in the hospital, consoling the victims' families. None of that seems to have happened, and that is appalling leadership from Vijay. There is no two opinions about that. His people should have been on the ground, and they were not there after the event. I'm sorry, but that is appalling.
I agree that Vijay not being there is shocking. But add to it is the fact that you had no TVK leaders whatsoever. And those optics are important. Whatever said, those optics are important. That you have TVK leaders out there because it sends a message of empathy. That you're there with the people when they need you the most.